Hey guys, pretty interesting Good Morning America conversation about public school scores. Check this out.
Researchers, Robin, are calling this both a reading and learning recession at schools across the country. This new report called the Education Scorecard found that reading scores are down in 83% of school districts in the U.S. in the past 10 years. Math scores dropped in 70% of districts, and this does transcend wealthy and poor districts. What's critical here is that the decline in scores started happening before the pandemic.
I'm glad the conversations are starting to be had on a larger platform in front of a bigger audience. It's almost like our children sitting inside of a building for 8 hours a day isn't working, and it hasn't been working for a very long time. And unfortunately, it's taken a while for experts to realize this. Now I'm gonna get the question, well, what do you expect us to do? Homeschool your children. The statistics in that regard are on your side.
Something fundamental has shifted in how we look at raising kids in this country. It used to be a given. You pack their lunches, put them on the bus, and trust the local public school to prepare them for the real world. But over the last few years, that trust has broken down. We are watching a mass exodus. Millions of parents are looking at the plunging literacy rates, the loss of basic life skills, and the one-size-fits-all factory model of education, and they are simply tapping out. They aren't just complaining at school board meetings anymore. They are taking their kids home.
So I'm a newly homeschooling mom, and I'm a former school social worker / school therapist. And I loved working in the schools, but I will not send my child to public school. I worked with preschool, elementary school, middle school, lots of middle school, and high school. And I loved my students so much. It was so much fun. It was so fulfilling. I loved being able to help them. But their realities, what they were living in school every day, it will sit with me forever. My experience left me feeling like no child in the school really even knows what it's like to feel fully content and happy and safe. They are enduring, they're in survival mode, and they don't even realize it. And I know a lot will disagree with me on that, but it's just the feeling I got.
I'm hoping you guys all know that we have a literacy problem in this country, or maybe you do and you have no idea how bad it is. So I've worked in a high school for 3 years now. I've worked with freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior, all of them. They all have very similar issues when it comes to literacy. I've seen way too many students who legitimately cannot read or write. But even some of my honor students can't find the page that I need them to go to because they don't know what the table of contents is. And then they'll say, like, I can't find the answer because it's not in one of the bolded headings. I said, you have to read it. And they said, but it's not in there. It's in the first sentence. And this is, I'm not trying to say anything bad about the kids. This is a much bigger issue, especially you're sending them to high school without these skills. But people don't know about that.
So I've had several people comment to me on some of my homeschool videos that I just homeschool because I want control over my kids. And all I have to say to those people, you are 100% correct. Of course I want control. I want to control my kids' health and wellness and not have a school tell me what they have to have and what they can and can't do because of said. I want to control their schedule and be able to travel and explore when and where we want to and not be stuck to a school schedule. I want to be able to control their learning environment. If we want to go learn at a zoo or an aquarium or a national park, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to control their influence and who they're around and what friends they have, and not the snooty kid that's a bully or that thinks he's a cat. No, thank you. I want to be able to control how much movement they get, how much outside time they get, how much family time they get. I want to be able to control what curriculum they're being taught and the pace at which they learn. I want to be able to control the life skills that they're being taught. I want to be able to control the ability to protect their childhood and their innocence. You can do whatever you want with your kids, and if you think public school is a good option for you, great. But I'm going to do what I feel is right and necessary for my family and my kids, and for us, that's homeschool. If you don't like it, just move along. It doesn't affect your life at all.
As of the end of this month, we are going to be pulling my son from a private Christian school, and he's going to start second grade in homeschool. And I always thought that he was going to be private Christian school, and I always thought that that was the route, but both of my kids are coming home, and we have decided that that's what's best for us. I've stopped working for the most part. I mean, I still do a marketing job on the side, but, you know, homeschooling I feel like is a growing trend. I know it's a growing trend, especially for Christian evangelical homes, and we are one of them. I'm tired of the bullying in schools. I'm tired of being told that it was my son's fault being bullied for sitting next to an older kid on the school bus. That was the reason why he got punched in the face. I'm tired of being told that boys will be boys and it's only going to get worse as they get older in school. That doesn't help at all. I don't know why they would tell me that. And I'm tired of having my son being forced to sit still for 5 out of the 6 hours that he's at school. And that just doesn't sit right with me. He should have more freedom. Kids in general should just have more freedom to learn. They should have the ability to ask questions and not be shamed in doing so. They should have the ability to want to learn. I feel like school actually suppresses that. From my research, it feels like, I think that school is just built to be a system for the factory workers or something like 150 years ago or whatever, when Henry Ford did it 100 years ago, to build factory workers. So they put in a dedicated education system that every single kid can follow and do the same thing day in, day out. But if you're going to be a business owner, trigonometry is not going to apply to you if you're going to cut grass for a living and make a very good business, a very good living. I know people that have a very good living doing that. I know people that have a multi-million-dollar clientele book of business in construction and remodeling. And guess what? That doesn't take a degree. And you can hire an accountant to do your books. It's really not that complicated to do it. And homeschooling can get you there. Homeschooling can get you the necessary tools. If you also want to be a rocket scientist, you could do that. You can go to space camp. You can have the freedom to do these things. And I wholeheartedly believe that school should be something where you learn by doing, and that you should have a joy in learning. I like having a joy in learning. It was squashed when I went to pursue my degree in business. I have a bachelor's and a master's, and I felt like I hated learning during that process. I was put in a box. I was learning classes that I didn't want to learn, but I had to do it to check off a box and earn credits. But why? Like, I'm never going to have to learn accounting because I work in marketing, and it just totally killed my drive. So I don't know. I felt compelled to just kind of say that, like, homeschooling really feels like that's a solid route for our family. And I'll post more about that as we go along. We'll probably start this summer, but yeah, pretty stoked about it.
Okay, call it a midlife crisis, call it what you want. I am understanding in a whole new way. I've been very in my feelings about how fast my daughter's childhood is going by. She's 11 going on like 27. But anyways, so in defense of homeschool, we did not always homeschool. We were not a traditional homeschool family. I used to be a career mom. We were at great little private schools, and for a lot of different reasons decided to try homeschool 2 years ago. And what I am learning and understanding is just how much time I've gotten back with her and how much I will never give that away again if I can help it. We know that so much time is wasted in a traditional school setting. So for me, I have no interest in going back to that. My daughter is growing up so fast, and I am just seeing how fast it's going, and I just will not sacrifice giving that up. And it makes me sad to think of all of the people and families that feel like homeschool just isn't for them. And there are some families where homeschool is just not for you. I totally get that. But if you're just not even willing to like try it or entertain it or pray about it, I think you're going to look back and have regrets. I think you're going to be like, oh, I actually did let someone else raise my kids. Because, and I know this is getting long, because you have to think about the traditional day of a family that's doing traditional school. Your mornings are rushed, your afternoons are rushed. When do you actually have downtime? When do you have family time? When do you fit it all in? And I still feel busy. We are still going to activities. We still have things almost every night of the week. But I have this extra time that other families don't. And I will not give it up. I will sacrifice almost everything else that I can to keep that time, because I know how fast it's going by, and I feel that so deeply in my soul, and I don't want to give it up. And it makes me so sad for families that it's like they just don't see it. They don't understand it. And I'm like, your kid's gonna be in college and you're gonna wish you had that time back.
I was a high school teacher in the public school system, and I honestly was shocked that kids no longer know how to do these 3 things. I could probably list 10, but these were the 3 that were most shocking to me, and the last one just blew my mind. First one was just hard cash, how to deal with counting back change, how to know the value of a dime, a nickel, a penny, and how to count change. I would bring in games like Monopoly just so that they could deal with cash money instead of Apple Cash, ATM cards, just dealing with hard cash. The second skill that I just had no clue and feel like I was just living under a rock was kids don't know their address anymore. When I was a kid, I had to memorize my address, my mom's phone number. That is gone. They don't know their address. They don't know anyone's phone number. That is a skill that I would probably ask all of my kids that would come through my classes, and I would ask them to write down their address, and probably 1 out of 30 actually knew their address without looking at their phone. The third one that was most shocking to me, because when I was a kid, I was so excited for this. I was living for this day, but it's getting their driver's license. High school students have zero motivation to get their license. They are not getting their license before they graduate. They're getting at 18, 19, 20. I think that there's just so much anxiety and hesitation around getting a driver's license that kids have zero motivation to get a driver's license. All of this just made me realize how important real life skills are, because confidence, independence, communication, responsibility, problem solving don't magically appear at 18. These are the 15 life skills that I really think every kid should know before adulthood hits them hard. How to do laundry, how to grocery shop, how to cook basic meals, how to manage money, how to stay organized, how to manage their time, how to talk on the phone, how to swim, how to find a job, how to read a map, how to use public transportation, how to stand up for themselves, how to cope with failure, how to clean a home, how to drive safely. The goal isn't raising perfect kids, it's raising capable kids. But I would love to know your opinion. What skills do you think that kids should know today that you don't see anymore?
I am a homeschool mom in a free homeschool state, meaning I do not have to do any of these things legally. I do not have to inform anybody that I'm homeschooling my kids. If I want to homeschool them, I just homeschool them. I can pick whatever curriculum I want to use. I can create my own. I can buy from somebody else. It does not matter. There is no requirements or standards that I have to use. There's nothing that's pre-approved. I can literally pick whatever curriculum I want to use. I do not have to submit any kind of state testing or any kind of portfolios to the government. I don't have to do that. I don't have to sign up with a charter school or a private school. I am my own homeschooling, and that's kind of what it is. So in a nutshell, I literally get to do whatever I want with my homeschooling without any type of oversight or somebody telling me what to do and what to pick and how to homeschool.
We pulled our son from the public school system when he was in the 2nd grade because he was losing his spark. I don't care what anybody says, the public school system is not meant for everyone. Education is not one size fits all. Our son is dyslexic and has problems with reading comprehension and had an IEP and was still not getting the help that he needed. He was enrolled in accelerated reader and could not read at all. And nobody showed him the read back feature on the computer and just sat him in front of the computer, and he was clicking the buttons hoping that he was getting the right answer. And I had no clue that any of this was going on until he came home sobbing one day because he doesn't get to go on an accelerated reader field trip. And still, with the extra help with the reading specialist, it was not enough because he was at a table with 4 other students and still wasn't getting the one-on-one time that he needed. So here we are. He just finished up the 4th grade. He's going into the 5th grade in the fall. He loves to read. He can read fluently now. And he made a B on his literature test for his homeschool co-op. So there it is. I said what I said. Rant over. Let me know in the comments, do you feel the same way? Because surely I'm not the only one.
I got called out hard at Costco yesterday with the kids. People throw shade at me for different things about homeschooling, you know, little digs here and there, but I did get called out in the middle of grocery shopping with my 4 kids, and it was like during school hours. And someone I know, not like a close friend, but anyway, she was like, oh, see, you know, this is why I could never homeschool my kids. Like, they would hate having to run errands with me all day, and they're so much happier in school.
I did not give an explanation because I'm just kind of over it. I don't need to explain myself. But what she doesn't know, and what I wish more people understood, is that sometimes errands aren't just errands, right? What she doesn't know is that my kids are working on cooking meals for themselves, my older two. So they budgeted, picked out recipes, and are each planning a night this week to cook. My daughter's gonna do like pasta from scratch and a pasta sauce. My son's doing a steak dish. But the point is that these are real life skills. So when people ask, are homeschool kids ready for the real world? Well, you're isolating your kid in a box away from the world for 13 years. My child is understanding how to budget and finance for the things that we need, how to make a grocery list, how to meal plan, how to cook, how to provide for themselves. I feel like these are real life skills. I don't think it's just bebopping around errands with mom. Like, this is the reality of the world. We don't just put food on the table. It comes from somewhere. And the actual act of grocery shopping is a little boring. And the cooking can be fun, but we have to do it. That's real life. And they still also got their schoolwork done, by the way. You know, we did their schoolwork already before we even did that. And then we were on to life school. Just had to get that out. I don't know why people have to even make comments like that. But that's the real deal.
When you hear from these parents and former teachers, the underlying message is impossible to ignore. The traditional education system is operating like an outdated assembly line. We are churning out teenagers who can pass a standardized test but can't count exact change, don't know their own home address, and have zero desire to even get a driver's license. That's not just an academic failure, that is a collapse of basic life preparation. The parents pulling their kids out aren't doing it just to be rebellious. They are doing it out of survival. They are watching the public school system struggle to maintain order and basic literacy, and they have decided they cannot afford to gamble their children's future on a broken machine. I want to hear your take on this. Have you noticed a drop in basic life skills with the younger generation, or are you considering alternative schooling for your own family? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.